Hello, welcome to today's session. So today we are covering anterior thigh muscles. All right. So today we're gonna cover all the muscles of the anterior thigh. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, when we study the anterior muscle of the thigh, we have a general rule. The artery, all right, we have to recognize the artery which supplies blood to the muscles in the anterior thigh region, and is the femoral artery. Same as the nerve. So the nerve which innervates all the muscles in the anterior thigh is the femoral nerve. Generally, the muscles of the anterior thigh are responsible for extension of the leg at the knee joint. All right, so it helps to extend the leg at the knee joint. So what are the muscles of the anterior thigh? So there are so many muscles, all right? But then we have the quadriceps femoris. There are 4 muscles which come together to form the quads. The quadriceps femoris, usually we just call it the quad. So the quad muscles, what are the quad muscles? We have the rectus femoris, vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius. So these muscles, 1, 2, 3, 4, together they are called the quadriceps femoris, all right? We have the psoas major, we have the iliacus. Together, we call them the iliopsoas. We have the sartorius. Sartorius, we can see, is a very long muscle. Actually, it's the longest muscle in the body. If you followed my video so far, what did I say was the largest nerve in the body? Sciatic nerve. Remember the nerve roots, all right, for sciatic nerve. And we have pectineus. So actually pectineus is also considered to be a medial muscle of the thigh. So pectineus is actually anterior muscle of the thigh, and it can also be part of the medial muscles of the thigh region. All right, so let's start. So for the rectus femoris, all right, look at the origin. Guys, when it comes to anatomy, you have to draw it out because there are so many muscles. So when you try to memorize the origins and insertions for all the different muscles in the body, it becomes very tedious. Because already you have other classes that you are studying for. You have to go to the lab and stuff like that. So you want to draw it out. And then after you draw it out and you are able to visualize it, even on the exam, if you forget, you can be able to visualize and see where it's coming from and where it's terminated. All right. So look at the rectus femoris. So for the rectus femoris, the origin and the insertion. So the origin, and remember guys, all the muscles of the quads, the quadriceps femoris muscles, they all have a common insertion at the patella. Patella is the kneecap, all right? The bone that you feel when you touch your knee, the kneecap bone, that's the patella. So rectus femoris, origin, anterior, inferior, iliac spine. This is where it originates, and it inserts at the patella, all right, the base of the patella. So what's the nerve supply? So it's supplied by the femoral nerve. And remember guys, all the muscles in the anterior thigh receive their innervation from the femoral nerve. The blood supply is femoral artery, but in this case there is a branch of the femoral artery known as the lateral femoral circumflex artery, which provide blood supply to the femoral rectus femoris. And what's the action? It extends the leg at the knee joint. All the quad muscles are for extension. Just like when we do the posterior thigh, the muscles there which are known as the hamstrings, we will realize that all the muscles are for flexion, all right, of the leg at the knee joint. So when you come here, you realize that for vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, vastus intermedius, one thing that you realize is that I only write the origin. Why? The only reason why I write the origin is because they all have a common insertion at the patella. All right. So the origin of the vastus lateralis. So the vastus lateralis, it starts at the lateral lip of the linea aspera. What is the linea aspera? Linea aspera is a line which is found on the femur. The femur is the bone which is in the thigh, is the femur. So on the linea, the lateral side of the linea aspera, that's where the vastus lateralis originates from. And what's the insertion? Common insertion, the base or the patella. All right. The vastus medialis. Vastus medialis is also from the medial lip of linea aspera. Vastus intermedius. So this one is different because this one, the origin is from the anterolateral surface of the femoral shaft. All right. So that's why I marked it with green. So the femoral, so this is the femur. So anterolateral surface of the femoral shaft, and then it will have the same common insertion. All right. So what's the nerve? Femoral nerve. What's the artery? Femoral artery. What's the action? Extension of the leg at the knee joint. Oh yeah. Let's look at the pectineus. So for the pectineus, the origin is from the pecten pubis or the superior ramus. All right. So when you look at the bone, so we have the ilium, we have the ischium, and we have the pubis, which is for the hip bone. All right. So for the pectineus, it will start from the superior ramus of the pubis bone, and then it will insert on the pectineal line of the femur. There is another line on the femur which is called the pectineal line. All right. So what's the innervation? Femoral nerve. Remember, femoral nerve. And remember, I said the pectineus is just not anterior muscle. It's also considered a medial muscle of the thigh. So it means it's going to receive another innervation from the obturator nerve. When we do the medial compartment, you realize that all the muscles in the medial compartment, adductor longus, adductor brevis, adductor magnus, they are all supplied by the obturator nerve. All right. So for the blood supply, it receives blood supply from femoral artery, branch of femoral artery called the medial circumflex femoral artery or medial femoral circumflex artery. So what does the pectineus do? The pectineus is responsible for flexion. All right. So it flexes the thigh and it adducts the thigh. So it will flex the thigh and adduct the thigh. And one thing, the reason why it adducts is all the muscles of the medial compartment, they are for adduction. So it makes sense that the pectineus is also responsible for adduction. Let's look at the psoas muscles. So for the psoas major, let me stand here. For the psoas major, what's the origin? It originates from T12, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5 vertebrae. Then it will come all the way and insert on the lesser trochanter. So the psoas major and the iliacus has a common insertion, which is the lesser trochanter. So where does the psoas major originate from? T12, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, and insert on the lesser trochanter. How about the iliacus? So for the iliacus, it originates from the iliac fossa. So this part of the ilium is called the iliac fossa. So it originates from here and it inserts on the lesser trochanter of the femur. The reason why I only brought the origin and the insertion is because they are the greatest hip flexors. So on the exam, when they ask you which of the following is responsible for flexion of the hip, always remember it has to be the iliopsoas. It's either iliacus or the psoas major. They are the greatest hip flexors. All right. And then let's look at the longest muscle of the body, which is the sartorius. So the sartorius, it originates from the anterior superior iliac spine. Which one originated from the anterior inferior iliac spine? Rectus femoris. So rectus femoris would have originated from here, like we see here. But then for sartorius, it's from the anterior superior iliac spine, and then it will insert on the proximal tibia, medial to the tibial tuberosity. All right. So as you see, it's very long. It goes all the way, it curls around, and it comes here. In fact, there are 3 muscles which insert on the proximal tibia. 3 muscles. All right. We call it, there is a mnemonic, girl between 2 soldiers. The girl, which is between 2 soldiers. The G is for gracilis. We will talk about it. And then we have the sartorius and I think semi-tendinosus. All right. So girl between 2 soldiers. So remember the insertion. So what are the actions of the sartorius? So the sartorius is responsible for flexion of the hip and knee. So they are responsible for flexion of the hip and knee. What is the greatest hip flexure? What muscle is responsible for flexion of the hip? The greatest one, iliopsoas major, iliacus, so the iliopsoas. So sartorius is also responsible for flexion of the hip, but it's not as strong as the iliopsoas. All right. It's also for lateral rotation of the femur, and it's also for abduction of the thigh, abduction of the thigh at the hip. All right. So guys, these are the anterior muscles of the thigh. So in summary, on the exam, when you see any muscle, first of all, you have to be able to know the muscles of the anterior thigh. Know the blood supply, femoral artery, branches of femoral artery. They are the major blood supply. What is the nerve? Femoral nerve. Femoral nerve. Every time you see anterior surface of the thigh, femoral nerve. Functions, they are for extension of the knee. So all the quad muscles are for extension of the leg at the knee joint. And then we have our greatest flexion of the hip, which is the iliopsoas. And remember, the sartorius is also responsible for flexion of the hip, but it is not as great as the iliopsoas. The sartorius is also able to abduct the thigh. The pectineus is able to adduct. So sartorius abduct the thigh. Pectineus adduct the thigh. All right. I hope you guys enjoy this. The drawing is here. So remember to always draw everything out so that you can have a picture memory which can help you to be able to recall. All right. Thank you. So if you like this video, subscribe to my channel so that every time I upload new videos, you'll get the notification. Thank you for watching and God bless you. All right. Bye-bye.